Did you know that when you yell at your dog, their brain reacts almost the same way as if they were being physically punished? It's true. Studies show that raised voices can activate stress responses in dogs that actually shut down their ability to process what you're saying. So instead of correcting their behavior, you might just be scaring them into confusion. Think about it, your dog doesn't speak English. They read tone, body language, and energy. And when that energy is loud, tense, or frustrated, they don't hear "stop chewing my shoe," they hear "danger is near." And what do animals do when they sense danger? They flee, freeze, or fight. Not exactly the outcome we're hoping for when we're just trying to get them to sit or stay. If you've ever wondered why your dog only listens sometimes, or why they suddenly ignore you when it really matters, like near traffic, other dogs, or distractions, you're not alone. But what if the key to a better behaved, more responsive dog isn't more discipline, but better communication? In this video, we're going beyond the myths and misunderstandings. We're going to explore what actually works based on science, behavior studies, and real-life training success stories. You'll learn why your dog might be tuning you out, how to speak in a way they truly understand, and how to transform your relationship from chaotic to calm, all without ever needing to raise your voice. So grab a snack, maybe one for your dog too, and stay with me, because what you're about to learn could completely change the way you live with and love your dog. Section 1: Why Yelling Doesn't Work. Let's start with something we often forget: your dog doesn't speak your language. They don't understand sentences, sarcasm, or why your tone shifted after they knocked over the trash. When you yell, they don't interpret it as "bad dog, don't do that again." Instead, they hear a sudden explosion of noise. A shift in energy. And depending on their history, their personality, and their environment, that noise means one thing: fear. You see, dogs are wired to survive. Their brains are constantly assessing, "Am I safe?" And when their trusted human suddenly starts shouting, even if the words are meant as discipline, the message that lands is, "I'm not safe anymore." There's actual science behind this. A 2019 study out of the University of Porto studied dogs trained using aversive methods, things like yelling, leash jerks, or physical punishment, and compared them to dogs trained with reward-based methods. The results? The dogs trained with punishment had significantly higher levels of cortisol, the stress hormone. Not just during training, but even when resting. Their brains and bodies were essentially living in a heightened state of anxiety. And here's the kicker: dogs under stress don't learn well. Their brain literally shifts from learning mode to survival mode. So if your goal is to teach your dog not to jump, bark, chew, or pull, and you're yelling while doing it, you're actually making it harder for them to process what you want. It's like trying to learn a new language while someone's blasting an air horn next to your ear. Let me tell you about Molly. She's a beautiful 3-year-old Labrador who was rescued from a tough situation. Her new owner, Lisa, was loving and patient, but she still had her human habits. Anytime Molly ignored a command or bolted after a squirrel, Lisa would raise her voice. Not out of cruelty, but out of frustration. She thought, like many of us do, that a louder voice equals more authority. But every time Lisa yelled, Molly would freeze. Or worse, run. It wasn't disobedience, it was fear. When Lisa finally started working with a positive reinforcement trainer, she realized Molly's past trauma had made her incredibly sensitive to tone. Once Lisa switched to calm signals, body language, and gentle cues, everything changed. Today, Molly's off-leash trained, checks in with Lisa constantly, and walks through crowded parks with ease. No yelling. No fear. Just trust. And that's the magic formula: communication without intimidation. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever noticed your dog completely shut down or ignore you the moment your voice went up? Maybe they turned their head, walked away, or even hid? Drop your story in the comments. I read every single one, and your experience might help someone else realize they're not alone. Section 2: Understanding how dogs hear and process sound. Here's something fascinating: dogs don't just hear better than us, they hear very differently. While the average human hears frequencies between 20 Hz and 20,000 Hz, dogs pick up on a range from roughly 67 Hz to 45,000 Hz. That means they can hear sounds that are both lower and significantly higher than we ever could. So when you think you're using a firm voice to correct your dog, it might actually be registering to them as piercing, startling, even painful. That loud tone you're using to be assertive? It's cutting through their hypersensitive ears like a siren. Tone over words every time. Now here's where it gets even more interesting. Dogs don't understand language the way we do. They're not listening for your words, they're listening for your tone. In fact, you could say the exact same phrase, like good boy, with a cheerful, melodic tone, and your dog will light up with tail wags in excitement. Say it again with a growl in your voice, and suddenly they're backing away, tail tucked, unsure of what just happened. It works the other way too. Ever said no in a soft, sweet voice just to see your dog happily bounce around like it's playtime? That's because tone, rhythm, and emotional energy carry more weight than vocabulary ever will. Your voice is your most powerful tool. Your dog is reading you constantly. Not just your words, but your breath, your posture, your energy. So here's a pro tip: develop 2 distinct vocal cues. One is your happy cue. That playful, upbeat tone you use when praising, encouraging, or calling your dog to you. Think of it like saying, "Come on, let's go," with a smile your dog can hear. The second is your calm authority voice. Not yelling. Not threatening. Just steady, confident, and clear. This is the voice you'll use for essential cues like leave it, wait, or sit. It should carry weight without fear, like a trusted leader guiding the pack, not scolding a subordinate. Practice makes partnership. If you're unsure whether your tone is working, watch your dog's body language. Are they leaning in, ears forward, tail relaxed? Or are they tense, hesitant, or turning away? Your dog's response tells you more than any obedience test ever will. So here's a quick challenge for you: the next time you give your dog a cue, pay attention to your tone. Practice saying the same word in a variety of ways. Notice how your dog reacts to each one. You might be surprised how much communication is happening beyond the words themselves. Let me know in the comments, have you ever accidentally scared your dog with your voice, even when you didn't mean to? What happened? I'd love to hear your story. Section 3: The root of disobedience. Why doesn't your dog listen? That's the question that keeps so many dog parents up at night, and the answer might be more layered than you think. At its core, disobedience isn't about stubbornness or defiance. It's about confusion, disinterest, or disconnection. And most of the time, it's not the dog that needs fixing, it's the way we're communicating. Let's break this down. One of the most common reasons dogs ignore commands is a simple lack of clarity. Imagine being dropped into a foreign country where no one speaks your language, and people keep shouting random words at you expecting a specific response. That's how many dogs experience training. One day off means get off the couch, another day it means stop jumping. One day they're allowed on the bed, the next they're scolded for it. Dogs don't thrive in chaos. They need consistency, clear cues that are used the same way every time, with the same expectations and consequences. When your commands change like the weather, your dog learns that the safest choice is to ignore everything until something makes sense. Then there's motivation. Let's be honest, would you go to work every day if you stopped getting paid? Dogs are the same. If listening to you doesn't lead to something positive, why would they keep doing it? Especially when the world is full of exciting smells, squirrels, and random patches of grass that apparently smell like the meaning of life. For your dog, every choice is a trade-off, and if your praise or treats don't outweigh the distraction, they'll make the wrong choice every time. Motivation isn't about bribery, it's about building habits that are rewarding in themselves. When your dog learns that coming to you equals something great, they'll start doing it eagerly, not reluctantly. But here's the hardest pill to swallow: sometimes your dog doesn't listen because they don't feel emotionally connected. And this isn't about love, it's about trust. Dogs are deeply intuitive. They sense our moods, energy, even micro-expressions. If you're constantly frustrated, yelling, or unpredictable in your reactions, they learn to tiptoe around you. They may stay physically close, but emotionally distant. And once that trust is fractured, listening goes out the window. Because why would they run to someone they associate with tension or fear? Take Jason and his beagle, Toby. Jason couldn't understand why Toby never came when called, especially at the park. But when we dug into the routine, it turned out come always meant one of two things: time to go inside, or time to get scolded. For Toby, recall didn't mean safety, it meant the end of fun, or punishment. So he did what made sense, he avoided it. But when Jason started flipping the script, calling Toby to him just for a treat, a belly rub, or a quick game inside the house, Toby's whole mindset shifted. Recall became a source of joy. And once that trust was rebuilt, obedience followed naturally. So if your dog seems disobedient, don't jump to conclusions. Ask yourself, am I being clear? Am I motivating them? And most importantly, do they trust me? Because once those three things align, everything changes. Section 4, The Science of Canine Learning. Alright, let's get a little nerdy, but in the best way possible. If you've ever wondered how dogs actually learn, this is the key. It all comes down to something called operant conditioning. Don't worry, it's not as intimidating as it sounds. In fact, you've probably been using it all along without realizing it. Operant conditioning is a scientific framework developed by psychologist B.F. Skinner. It describes how behavior is influenced by consequences. And when it comes to training dogs, or really, any animal, this framework helps explain exactly why certain methods work while others totally backfire. There are 4 main quadrants. Negative reinforcement is a little trickier. Negative means you're removing something, and reinforcement still means you're increasing a behavior. A classic example is leash pressure. You tug slightly, your dog moves toward you, and you release the pressure. The removal of the discomfort reinforces the behavior of moving closer. It's still used in certain training circles, though not as common as it once was. When used correctly, it's more about timing than force, but it requires finesse and should be handled carefully. Positive punishment is what most people default to when frustrated, adding something unpleasant to decrease a behavior. Think yelling, leash jerks, or using a loud noise to startle your dog. It might stop the behavior in the moment, but it doesn't teach what to do instead. And worse, it often damages your relationship with your dog. Science consistently shows that positive punishment can lead to fear, anxiety, and even aggression over time. Negative punishment is more subtle and often more humane. Here, you remove something the dog wants to decrease an unwanted behavior. For example, your dog jumps on you for attention, and instead of yelling, you turn your back and walk away. The attention goes away, so the behavior becomes less rewarding. It's quiet, it's clear, and it teaches without fear. Now here's the fascinating part. Multiple studies, including one from the University of Bristol, have shown that dogs trained with positive reinforcement not only perform better in obedience tasks, but they also show lower signs of stress and stronger bonds with their owners. They learn faster, retain behaviors longer, and are happier while doing it. So here's a little thought experiment. Which of these quadrants do you use the most, maybe even without realizing it? Take a second and think about your dog. What's their name? How do you usually respond when they do something great? Or something frustrating? Drop a comment below with your dog's name and your go-to training style. I'd love to see which quadrant resonates with you most. Who knows, maybe you're already a positive reinforcement pro and didn't even know it. Section 5, What to do instead, 5-step strategy. Okay, this is it, the part you've been waiting for. You know yelling doesn't work. You know how your dog actually processes sound and emotion. So, what should you do instead? Here's a simple, science-backed, yell-free strategy that gets results. Just 5 steps, and when done consistently, they can completely transform how your dog listens to you. Step 1, Get their attention. Before any command, say your dog's name like it means something good is coming. Not like a warning, not like they're in trouble. You want their ears to perk up when they hear it. If they look at you, reward them even just with a smile or a yes. And a treat. This is name recognition, and it's the foundation of focus. Step 2, Use clear, consistent cues. Keep your commands short and snappy. Sit. Stay. Down. That's it. Not can you sit down for mommy? Or why don't you lie down now? Dogs aren't interpreting sentences, they're responding to patterns. The more consistent you are, the quicker they learn. Step 3, Reward quickly and often. Timing is everything. Dogs live in the moment. If you wait too long to reward a behavior, they won't connect the dots. You've got about 1.3 seconds to make that link. So be quick, be generous, and keep those good associations flowing. Step 4, Start small and quiet. Don't expect your dog to ace recall in a busy park if they've never practiced it in your living room. Train in low distraction environments first. Build muscle memory, then slowly add challenges. You wouldn't start algebra before learning to count, right? Same logic. Step 5, Set boundaries with calm confidence. Here's the truth, your energy teaches more than your words. If your dog jumps on you, don't yell, just turn away. If they bark excessively, don't panic, redirect their energy. Be neutral. Be consistent. Be the calm in the chaos. That's real leadership. And that's your 5-step roadmap. No yelling. No fear. Just clarity, connection, and calm authority. Try it out this week and pay attention to the shift. You'll be amazed at how much more your dog listens when they want to, not because they're afraid not to. So, here's the big takeaway: yelling doesn't fix your dog's behavior, it just chips away at the trust you're trying to build. But when you shift into calm, clear, consistent communication, something incredible happens. Your dog starts to listen. Not out of fear, but because they want to. Because they understand you. Because they feel safe. Speak less, mean more, and reward the good like it's the most important thing you'll do all day, because to your dog, it is. Like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you don't miss a single moment of canine wisdom. And before you go, drop your dog's name in the comments and let me know what command they struggle with most. I might just shout them out in the next episode. Until then, stay curious, and stay kind to your 4-legged best friend.